Yeah, let's just get into it, man. What's up, Larry? How you doing, man?
It's gonna get hot, Larry, cause I got some hot takes.
What'd you say? You had some hot shit? What?
I said I got some hot takes. It's gonna get hot in here.
You're at 109 right now.
But you don't hear me though.
All right, Arias.
Yo, what's up, Larry?
So Basquiat, I've got the Basquiat pictures all around here. So let's talk about Basquiat, Jean-Michel.
Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Yeah. What's your take on him? What's your perspective on the brother?
All right, so he's been a name I've heard for a long time. I think I first heard of him maybe when I was in college, which is probably like around 1997, 98, 99.
You heard of him in '97?
That's when I first heard the name Basquiat, like around that time.
I learned of him in 2005.
Okay,
Yeah, because a show came to LA. I hadn't heard of him
okay.
before that.
Well, I went to Berkeley and I had some very artsy
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
who put me on things I had never heard of, before.
Yeah.
So I'd heard about Basquiat, and so I knew he was an artist. I knew he was like a legendary figure from New York.
Okay.
One of my close friends grew up in New York and
Okay.
put me up on a lot of New York things. And I had seen some of his work, um, but recently I went with my wife to the Basquiat exhibit that they had in downtown recently,
King Pleasure,
King Pleasure. And
put on by his sisters, Lisan and Janine,
yeah,
and across the street from the Broad and the Walt Disney Concert
mhm,
Hall and all that kind of stuff. So you made it. You got okay.
yeah. So, and it was cool. And my major takeaway,
Wait. That was your first Basquiat exhibit.
that was my first time going to an exhibit. I had seen things here and there, and I had seen like little snippets of different documentaries and stuff. So I had an idea of who he was and
Okay. Okay.
stuff like that. But I didn't know it's like full story, and I hadn't been exposed to like all of his work. I had seen things here and there, and one thing I took away from it was like, wow, the hustle's real.
The hustle is real.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is, I say it better like this: art is just as much about the artist as it is about the art. When I look at his work alone in a vacuum, I'm like, my daughter could do this when she was five.
I know, right? That is the impression. Right. The first time I saw his artwork, I was like, what the heck, right? And then I was working at a local school and the business manager, we were connecting over Basquiat, and she made the same comment, and I was kind of hurt because she was talking about a black artist, but at the same time I'm like, yeah. You're right.
And so when I learned his story,
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Kid
he
could
was
do.
taken in by not taken in, but like the white art world really appreciated his work a
Yes.
lot, and
Yes.
that's why I say the hustle is real. It seemed like it became not became, but it was like, okay, well, I can make money off of this thing
Okay.
that I'm doing. The white people love it, but I mean, like when I look at it, I mean, I'm like,
Right. You're looking at it and you're saying, where's the depth? Where's the complexity? Where's the skill?
skill mostly.
Skill
I mean,
mostly.
because when I look at the work, I can see the ideas that he's putting into it. There's definitely thought and ideas into it, but I'm like, okay, like, I mean, like, skill as an artist. I mean,
Right.
it's
Because
not really.
we are accustomed to seeing um I won't say a Picasso because Picasso's work was kind of like what the heck was that?
Yeah.
Um who are okay, Salvador Dali, surrealist painter, and his works look like they take time and skill. Um, who else? Mm, I think of a Winslow Homer. Winslow Homer painted a very iconic image of two enslaved girls in the South picking cotton,
Mm,
and in the picture they're holding their cotton bags and they're looking off into the distance, sort of like, what the hell, man?
mm,
And he captured that, eloquently, beautifully. Yeah, you're not gonna get a landscape. You're not gonna get some emotion in features and faces in a
right.
Basquiat. You're gonna get lines, words,
Yeah.
and color,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay,
And obviously art is subjective and people, they like what they like, but I had a hard time coming away with something that I liked,
okay.
like, but it was more so like, okay, his story's interesting, his background, who he was, the time frame that he came up in, it's definitely interesting. But like when I left there, I was like, okay, well, this is like anything, like capitalism gets a hold of it and
Hmm.
they put you up on a pedestal, like, you know,
Okay.
but really, did you deserve it?
Wow.
And that's my take. I mean, probably, people might not agree with it, but also it's like, I also thought like, this is art. Like you do art, and the outcome is not really as important as the input. The output is not as important as the input. Like, what are you putting into it? And I can definitely see that he put, his heart and soul into it. But me as somebody, I just didn't see like the
All right.
greatness.
So what I no, nah. There's what is no. What is this? Um, that is that has been that opinion has been expressed before. I watched another brother's video and he was like, what is this? And why are people celebrating it? For me, 2005, I was working and well, I was a temporary. I was in a temporary position and I saw an advertisement at the what is that place called? Mocha.
Mm,
And I saw the name. I didn't know the name Basquiat, and I'm like, what is that? I guess I did some work, some research online, and I saw that it's a black artist. The thing about it was I had remember Dr. Code at at Hamilton. He was the art
oh yeah,
history
yeah.
dude.
I had him.
All right. I didn't hear about any black artists, especially not Basquiat's name, or it didn't. No one introduced his work to me, so I was unfamiliar with him. I was familiar with Picasso, of course. My dad's favorite was Salvador Dali, um, and a few other notable big name artists. I didn't know anything about Basquiat, so when I learned that he had done some artwork in Venice, California, I thought, wow, he was right here, and he is famous, is more famous than anyone that I've and his show is going to be here in Los Angeles. So I thought at least that was interesting, cool, and made me want to say, who is this Negro?
Yeah,
Who is this dude who's taking over the museum? You know. And then when I got there, I learned that he was already deceased, and that hit me as in, damn, why couldn't the brother have lived longer? And I saw interviews with him, and I guess I was gutted. I was like, dude, that young brother should have had a longer life. And even though at that time I didn't understand, the art movement, and yeah, I couldn't see the value. I'm like, okay, what the heck is all of this stuff? Um, it still was like, look at all these white people at this gallery looking at this brother's stuff, and he's not here.
yeah.
That really, resonated with me, really stuck to me, and so I did my research. Like when Tupac died, I was I was a mess. Tupac was a hero. I was listening to Tupac's lyrics, trying to search for meanings, trying to search for secret messages,
Mm,
hoping that somehow he was in Cuba or he was somewhere else. Um, when what Tupac when Nipsey died, you know, I went on this whole thing of like I'm still on it. Like, you know, there's so much richness to this man's life that we need to continue to embrace and we need to learn from, you know. And then Basquiat. I mean, the time chronology, it was Basquiat, then Tupac, and then Nipsey. But for these young brothers to die and for them to be on the world stage and not be here was just that was the tragedy. And it was tragic, but it was also intrigue for me. So, and that intrigue hasn't left me because I guess I just want to know more. You know, it's not okay, one and done. You know, because for me, after the show, I went to the library, Beverly Hills Library, where I rented the DVD. Okay, so at this show, I saw that he had been in a movie, and I was like, well, now I've got to see that movie.
Basquiat had been in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, what movie was he in?
All right. So it was called Downtown '81.
It was like a documentary or a film, feature film, like acting.
It's a loose. Okay, it's a semi autobiographical. I don't want to call it a biopic, but it's kind of a documentary on New York life with Basquiat is the subject, and it's semi autobiographical because everything that you see is basically him in real life. So that's like it was like a vlog,
Okay.
but he wasn't talking. Well, he wasn't breaking down the fourth wall. No, it's always it's scripted and you just see him going around the city and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, but 2005 is when I went to the first show, saw his artwork, and that was it. I was like, it's time to do some investigative work. Let me learn more about the dude.
Okay.
So, music. After you get the after I got the Downtown '81, saw the movie, then it was, well, let me listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack includes a song that he produced.
Okay.
So now I'm like, wait a minute, he was an artist, but then he was also a music producer, a musician, a member of at least two different bands. Well, he produced one record and he was a member of a band.
Yeah.
The music's terrible though.
It was a trend, huh?
Yeah, it was the thing. It was the thing to do. Just like
No, I'm saying it's a trend. The music's terrible.
the
Artwork.
the artwork
It's
too.
not
Like,
terrible. I'm just messing around.
it's just it has that vibe.
It
It's
just
just
feels like it's drug induced.
mm.
Like, in my opinion, like maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but
And that aspect, yeah. Let's get into that.
yeah.
Let's take a break though.
You're at 109 right now.
But you don't hear me though.